Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the second and final season of Assassination Classroom.
Yes, one of the best animes ever. Now, as the one-year deadline is inching closer, Class 3 levels up their skills in order to take out Koro Sensi as soon as possible. But as paths are revealed, will they still be able to complete their mission?
Oh. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell that updates on future podcasts, and roll the pause video.
Yes, this was a bittersweet season.
Yes.
It was all fun and games.
Until the final
learning
episodes.
until like the last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And the last 2
were
just
the
me
heartbreakers.
crying over and over.
Yes, if you've seen the anime, you know what we're talking about. It's a very heartbreaking ending.
What was most amazing is I looked over and Rascal was crying, which rarely happens. So yes, it was that good.
Yes, yes. And yeah, you did not like that. You were hoping something different would happen. But as the show went on, they actually revealed Koro Sensei's past and how he got there. And Nagisa decides maybe we should save him instead.
Now we're gonna say spoilers, but this anime has been gone a while, so we don't
Right,
consider
just
it
in
spoilers.
case.
But if you've never seen it and you plan on seeing it and you don't want to know what happens in the end,
Stop it.
come back.
Stop.
And do that.
Just stop and go. We'll wait. You back? Okay. So, yeah, so in here, Nagisa has the idea or the plan to save Koro Sensei instead of assassinating him. They've been trained to do that, but once they found out how he got there, they want to try to save him instead because he has a bit of a time limit on him.
And prior to that, we get to see more of their growth and their development.
Right.
We get to see more of their interactions with Koro Sensei. We even get to see Koro Sensei work his magic with the headmaster of the school.
Yes.
And with other people around, and it just gets better and better as the season went on, just seeing what happens in their encounters and their growth. And yes, Nagisa's my favorite character, seeing him grow more and more. And
Right.
just, as you did mention, more backstories being revealed.
Right. And after it's revealed, because you haven't seen it, Nagisa has the plan, and he talked over some of the other students, is that instead of assassinating him, they try to save him, because they're getting close to the deadline. So they sort of had this whole arc of deciding, will they go ahead and save him, or will they stick to the original plan of assassinating him? And as it goes on, they eventually they want to save him. But when we get towards the end, you find out that despite them wanting to do this and they had the plans to save him, the government had revealed Koro Sensei. They had kept him secret all this time, but then they revealed him to the world.
Where they couldn't keep him hidden or help him.
Right. So even though they have planned to help him, even if they saved him from expiring,
Never be
safe again, they would still be trying to get him. So unfortunately, the other route had to happen.
But before that, I do want to mention how
Yeah.
we found out more about Nagisa and his situation with his mom, which was, I had read
Crazy.
some things online, but it was way crazier seeing it
Yeah.
after the anime.
Yeah.
Kaede, we saw that she was going to become a more prominent character on the show.
Yeah.
And her backstory came out and was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We saw more on Karma. We saw more on some others. And again, that made it really interesting. But of course, the climax was seeing Koro Sensei reveal that he had been human at one point.
Right.
And that he was he was an assassin.
Right.
And that they did experiments on him, and he ended up turning into what he is now. Well, what he was, and he was never an alien.
Right.
That's what they called him.
Right. And
we learned about Kaede's sister, who was their teacher
Yes.
prior to Koro Sensei.
Right. And he had made the promise to her that he would finish teaching the students for her, and the way to do it for his way was through assassination. And you found out how they got to the point where they set up the deadlines of have them graduate in a year, and he used assassination for. He told them he's the one that blew up the moon, and he was responsible for all of this, so they would have the motivation to do it.
It just is a fantastic show.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many people on Twitter when I would ask for recommendations. I repeatedly would get Assassination Classroom, because it really is good. Yes, it is fantastic. It is spectacular. It is in my top 10 of all-time favorite anime. It's just perfectly written, perfectly developed characters, fantastic voice actors. You know just about all of them, and they're people that you really love. The storyline itself, how a person goes from being a villain to one that has learned through his mistakes and learned through his experiences how to love. I mean, when this was done, this wasn't happening in movies and things.
Right.
So it was a really new concept, but it was done so well where you didn't feel like you were being forced to like someone who was unlikable.
Right.
You got to like him first, and you were shown why he was a viable character and why he was important. Then you got the backstory. And when you got the backstory and you saw how he ended up as he is, you were able to empathize. You were able to appreciate the character. And you didn't feel like you were being tricked into liking a villain, because you learned that he really never was a villain.
Right.
Because of the things that had happened and because of what the government did to him in experimenting.
Right.
It's just brilliantly done.
Right. And towards the end, everything just goes to level 100.
Yes.
And the guy that was doing the experiments is trying to take him out once and for all. He's got his own mutant experiment. It becomes like a shonen battle and everything, and it really heats up. There's just all this action, and like you said, last 4 episodes like the hardest to watch because they're like literally within hours of the deadline.
Right. You learn that Mr. Karasimo knew about everything we couldn't reveal, and Miss Yellovich, you find out that this is only a 20-year-old girl. We were like, what? And they said, she's still a baby herself. She just made 20. We're like, what?
Yeah, I was like, what? No wonder she acts crazy.
So it was like, that was just a hilarious reveal. And as I did mention earlier, the last 2 episodes, the second to the last is the one I cried the most. You just couldn't stop crying because the final episode really is more like a wrap-up of what has happened over the course of the series.
Yeah.
But that second to last episode,
yeah.
I knew what was going to happen because I had gotten a spoiler online. I knew who took him out. We won't tell you if you haven't seen it. I knew what was going to happen. And still knowing what was going to happen, I sat and cried like a baby.
Yeah. And I guessed who did it and actually got it right.
And I never told you, so I wouldn't spoil it. But yeah, you did.
Yeah, and it was like, it was hard to watch. And I would see online after we had finished, like people who reacted to the show watching it for the first time, and everyone who got to the end in the thumbnails, they were all crying. Everyone who watched it cried. And even got people saying they watched the clip and didn't know that was the end of the series, but they didn't feel anything. But then when they watched the whole show over and got to that part, then they started crying.
Right.
So even knowing you cry still, it was just like the hardest. It was one of the hardest things to watch in an anime.
Sunny Straight is excellent as Koro Sensi. It doesn't even sound like him. It was just brilliant how he chose to portray this character. He did it wonderfully. Lindsay Sidell is great as Nagisa, and the humor's not lost on her voicing him. Of course, Austin Tyndall is fantastic as Karma. Oh, and we get to see the true relationship between Karma and Nagisa, and we see it come to a head, and we see them become friends, which really was a wonderful part of the series.
Right, because that had been really building up since near the end of season 1.
Right. So if you have seen Assassination Classroom season 2 or 1 and 2, let us know what you think in the comments below. Have you seen 365 Days, which we plan on watching next? Have you watched the chibi version?
Right.
Let us know.
Or the live action movies even that covers both seasons.
Yes, let us know in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, it's available on YouTube. People have it there, but you have to watch it in a box. Or you can go onto Hulu, and watch seasons 1 and season 2. You're going to have to buy the movies, or you're going to have to watch them on Prime.
Right. Oh, and be sure to like, subscribe, and notification with updates on future podcasts and more of Paws videos.
Yes, and the only negative, bad part is that there can never be a sequel. There can never be another season. There is no way that this can have any more seasons or movies.
Right. So the best they could have was the 365, which acts as an epilogue for the series taking place a few years after the show ends.
And I'm truly grateful for all of you who kept recommending this anime. I'm really grateful to Tanami for putting on the first season, and that's how we got to see the first season. And then we saw the second season on Hulu and some on YouTube.
Right.
So Watch it if you haven't seen it. It's one of the best animes you will ever watch. It is one of our top number one recommendations for animes to watch. If you haven't watched any anime at all, this would be a great way to start.
Right.
This and My Hero Academia, but this one here, oh man,
right.
This is like the total package, top tier.
Right.
This
all
is
the comedy.
what anime is all about.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Masculine Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And thanks so much to our possum family.
Yes.